Thursday morning. You know what that means. And he's on the microphone with Brian and Gene. The morning sickness show is where I want to be. Strumming my guitar, soft and gently. Where bacon rules all, and Bloody Marys are tall, and Pearl Street beers chase them all. I'm here to sing to you, tell you have a great day, and don't forget to come rock out with Tug Sunday.
Our good friend Andy Hughes of Tug with the Thursday song, kicking things off on a Thursday morning, getting into the mid to upper 60s today, and then into the 70s tomorrow before some rain moves in. Looking at rain overnight Friday into Saturday. Looks like showers will continue Saturday morning and then dry up sometime later in the day. Temperatures down into the mid to upper 50s as well on Saturday. Gene's out, apparently not feeling well, so you're stuck with me. My apologies. That means extra music, though. So if you got something you want to hear, let me know. rockmornings.com. Find all of our contact info there. Try to fill some of the time with some extra tunes. Also, Office Cora going to join me just after 8 o'clock. Find out what she's up to in the 715 this weekend. Also, some Disturbed and Stone Sour in a couple of minutes. Again, head to rockmornings.com to find all our contact info, listen to the show live, daily podcast on there as well, and your chance to win prizes like date night on Friday. So sign up for that.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
Moon looking just about full. Of course, lunar eclipse later tonight, early tomorrow morning, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there. Looking forward to seeing that when I get up tomorrow morning. Again, Gene out today, not feeling well, so you're stuck with me. We'll get to bad news, happy music later on. Office Core going to join me just after 8 o'clock. We'll find out what she's up to in the 715. We'll play a little round of Hypothetical Thursday with the two of us. Gene will, of course, not be able to answer her question. But we'll talk to Office Core about that. The mayor of Madison said yesterday that she has placed the municipal clerk on leave as investigators work to determine how she failed to count almost 200 absentee ballots back in the November election. Madison mayor saying in a statement that the city has launched an investigation and that she needed to suspend city clerk Maribeth Witzel-Bell to maintain public confidence in the clerk's office. The mayor adding that the city will be sparing no expense to ensure that every vote is counted heading into the swing state's spring election. We've got, of course, a pretty important Supreme Court election coming up. The State Elections Commission also investigating whether Maribeth Witzel-Bell violated any state laws or abused her discretion. The uncounted ballots did not change the results of any of the races, but 4 Madison voters whose ballots were not counted have now filed claims last week for $175,000 each from the city and Dane County. Spokesperson for the mayor said that Maribeth Witzel-Bell will continue to be paid during her suspension. She makes $152,000 annually. No listing for her personal contact info immediately found. Yeah. So she's suspended. 200 absentee ballots, uncounted, in the November election. Found them months later. Going to do an investigation. And, of course, April 1st general election, just a couple of weeks away, the high-profile race between Brad Schimmel and Susan Crawford for the open state Supreme Court seat, the big one. And people want to be reassured that their ballots are being counted. Don't blame them. Waukesha County prosecutors said a teen lived with his mom and his stepdad's bodies for 2 weeks after he murdered them. Nikita Kasap, who was 17, has not yet been charged with homicide for the double murders. Prosecutors say those charges are forthcoming. For now, he's facing charges of taking a vehicle without consent and theft for taking his stepfather's gun. He was arrested in Kansas last week, 800 miles away from Waukesha. Kasap walked slowly into the courtroom yesterday for his initial appearance, wearing a safety vest, shackles. The vest usually worn to keep defendants from hurting themselves. His attorney reminding the court that her client is just 17. He is young. He is still in high school, said his attorney. Despite his age, prosecutors say Kassab will be facing first-degree murder charges in the next week or two. Waukesha County Sheriff's Department finding 51-year-old Donald Mayer and his wife, 35-year-old Tatiana Kassab, dead in their home back on February 28th. Deputies called to the home for a welfare check after Meyer's mother, who lives in Massachusetts, reporting not hearing from them in weeks. The mom was found in a hallway covered with blankets and a towel, while Mayer was found in an office on the first floor. Kassab had been absent from school for 2 weeks. Apparently had been living there in the house with the two dead bodies for 2 weeks before he went on the run. Prosecutors say that he killed his stepfather, shooting him in the back of the head. Then he went to school the next day, continuing to live at home for nearly 2 weeks until February 23rd. The defendant continued to live at the residence with the two bodies at the house. He then fled with the $14,000 in cash. We know he was communicating with someone to get fake plates to put on the car to hide that the car was stolen, said District Attorney Leslie Bowes. Ugh. Eau Claire City Council yesterday deciding that they will continue the annual 4th of July fireworks show. At the last meeting, the council failed a resolution allowing Festival Foods to sponsor the fireworks. The measure needed to have 6 affirmative votes, but only had 5. 2 of the council members at that time were absent. Some members arguing that the display has caused concerns, citing PTSD in military veterans, distressed pets, as well as air pollution last night, the measure passed in a 9-1 vote. So Festival Foods will be sponsoring the fireworks now through 2027. They will remain on the High Bridge in Eau Claire, so people that were concerned about missing out on the 4th of July fireworks, no worries. It's like that problem's been solved. And there's obviously a ton of festivals in the state of Wisconsin. Every little town, every little city along the map has got a festival of some sort. Butterfest, Cranberry Fest, Fish Fest, this fest, that fest, Oktoberfest, Garden Fest, Irish Fest, River Fest. I mean, there's, a million of them. And the annual Cheese Curd Festival in Ellsworth is now in the top 10 of the 2025 USA Today 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards for specialty food festivals. The Cheese Curd Festival, held every year in June, in celebration of the town's designation as the cheese curd capital of Wisconsin, it placed 4th out of 10 other festivals in the nation. That's pretty cool. National Buffalo Wing Festival in Buffalo, New York, came in 3rd. The Delta Hot Tamale Festival in Greenville, Mississippi, placing 2nd. And Picklesburg in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, number 1. That's the one that I've been hearing about for a couple of years. And I think I might have to go because your boy loves some pickles. This year at the Cheese Curd Festival in Ellsworth, attendees can experience over 6,000 pounds of cheese curds and over 30 different craft beers, ciders, and local wines. June 27th to 28th at the East End Park off US 10 in Ellsworth. And it's 4th out of the 10 in the USA Today Reader's Choice Awards for Best Specialty Food Festival. Congratulations. The Cheese Curd Festival, which I've never been to. I'll have to check that out, too. Love me some cheese curds. That one in Pittsburgh, though, that sounds like the bomb. Picklesburg. Again, no Jean today. She's out sick. Stuck with me. We'll get to some Marilyn Manson in a couple of minutes. Rockfest music from Manson. Also got some Stone Sour after Disturbed.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
That, of course, is Marilyn Manson. I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me. Rockfest music for Manson. Looking forward to seeing him this July in Cadott. Rock-fest.com for tickets and info. Got a text from Allison. Wants to hear some Stained. We'll get to that a bit later on. If you've got something you want to hear, find all our contact info online at rockmornings.com. The Bucks have lost 3 games in a row. They look to snap that streak at home tonight against the Lakers. 6:30 tip, that game on TNT. The Big Ten tournament kicking off yesterday. Number 13 Northwestern beating number 12 Minnesota 72-64. 15th ranked Iowa beating number 10 Ohio State 77-70, and number 14 USC beat number 11 Rutgers 97-89. So teams are moving on, and today the Big Ten tournament continues with number 8 Oregon taking on number 9 Indiana. That game is at noon on the Big Ten Network, and about a half hour after that game wraps up, it'll be your Wisconsin Badgers. Number 5 Wisconsin taking on number 13 Northwestern. And then a bit later on, number 7 Illinois taking on number 15 Iowa. That's at about 6:30 on the Big Ten Network. And then after that game is over, about a half hour later, you got number 6 Purdue taking on number 14 USC. Big Ten tournament continuing today. Aaron Rodgers now officially a free agent. It became official yesterday at 3 p.m. our time, 4 p.m. Eastern. Start of the new league year. Rodgers released by the Jets, now permitted to sign with any team. Giants and Steelers apparently have some interest in the 4-time MVP. Brett Favre had some simple advice for Aaron Rodgers if the Vikings do come calling. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, some similarities there. Both played for the Packers and went to the Jets, and now Brett wanted to get to the Vikings. Not sure if Aaron wants to go there, but there has been some reports that there might be some interest now that Sam Darnold has moved on. Brett Favre said, quote, "By all means, sign with them. They've got a really good football team. They're loaded at pretty much every position." Favre giving a thumbs up and an endorsement for Aaron Rodgers to go and be a Viking. We'll see. Seahawks agreeing to a 1-year deal worth up to $5.5 million with veteran wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling. MVS going to Seattle. Bills re-signing safety DeMar Hamlin to a 1-year extension, and no big surprise here, but A.J. Dillon, running back for the Packers, signing a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Dillon, a second-round draft pick back in 2020, and his departure from Green Bay was expected. So he's going to go run behind Saquon Barkley. Sports on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. March Madness right around the corner. Don't forget, Simpsons Skip Day a week from tomorrow. So next Friday, going to be at the VFW on Star Ave from 11 until 3 in Eau Claire. Drinking beers, buying rounds, watching college basketball, giving away swag. We're going to have, speaking of Manson and Rockfest, we're going to have some Rockfest tickets to give away. So if you're taking next Friday off to watch all the action, bring your highlighters, bring your brackets to the VFW on Star Ave in Eau Claire, and join me as we have another Simpsons Skip Day. Poppy in a couple of minutes. Also some requested Stain for Allison. We'll get to that next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
Requested Stain for Allison. That is Better Days on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. She's out. It's just me today. Sorry. But as I mentioned earlier, going to have some extra time on my hands to play some tunes. So if you got something you want to hear, let me know. T-Stat said, would you have room for some Volbeat this morning? Please and thank you. And I will have room for some Volbeat, so I'll get to that a bit later on. Next Level Chef on Fox tonight, 911 over on ABC. Season 3 finale of Animal Control on Fox. Also the 22nd season premiere of Top Chef over on Bravo. Grey's Anatomy on ABC. The premiere of The Parenting on Max. A young gay couple renting a countryside house for a getaway with their parents, only to learn that it's haunted. Stars Parker Posey, Legia Kudrow, and Brian Cox. Also the premiere of Control Freak on Hulu, a horror film starring Kelly Marie Tran as a motivational speaker who is driven mad by a constant itch on the back of her head. Boy, that would be annoying. Series premiere of Long Bright River on Peacock today. Amanda Siegfried as a police officer investigating the disappearance of her estranged and drug-addicted sister. Also the streaming premiere of Kraven the Hunter on Netflix today. And you've also got Matlock, Law & Order SVU, Dr. Odyssey, Elsbeth, and Impractical Jokers during primetime. Late night shows, Nick Jonas and Anthony Michael Hall going to be on with Jimmy Fallon. Ellen Pompeo and David Blaine going to be on with Kimmel, and Gary Oldman will be on with Stephen Colbert. We started to watch Fire in the Sky last night before bed, but didn't quite make it to the end. Wife got home, had some dinner, didn't really start the film till after 6 p.m., and by about 7:15, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go to bed. We got another half hour in, and that was about it. Fire in the Sky from, what was it, 93? About alien abduction. It's one of my wife's favorite films. She's going to be out of town this weekend. So I gotta play dog wrangler She's going to Iowa to visit some girlfriends. They're going to see Hairball. Yeah, Hairball's playing, the Surf Ballroom down in Iowa this weekend. And then, of course, Hairball at the Omni Center in Onalaska next Saturday. So if you don't want to go to the Surf Ballroom this weekend to see him, where my wife's going to be, you can see him next Saturday at the Omni Center in Onalaska. Head to OnalaskaOmniCenter.com to buy tickets to see Hairball. 25th anniversary of Hairball. Wife's going down there to drink some wine with her girls and see Hairball. And I guess they're going to try to do some stuff about the day the music died and do some touring and shopping and drinking and whatever, wine and cheese, all that crap. I'll be home with the dogs, hanging out, watching TV, relaxing. Probably watch some baseball. It's going to be really nice tomorrow, too, so I'll probably put the dogs in their kennels for a little while and get on the Harley and go for a ride. That's definitely in the calendar for tomorrow's activities. Green Day a bit later on. Right now, it's Audio Slave.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
That is requested Volbeat for T-Stat. Wondering if I had time for some Volbeat. Of course, I have time for some Volbeat. Also got a text from Doc. Said, funny you should bring up the Surf Ballroom. I'm sitting 3 blocks away from it right meow. Waiting for my first customer to come in. Also wants to hear some Lemmy, Hellraiser. You can do some Motorhead. Volbeat, of course. New album. New tour. 9th studio album. By a Monster's Hand. Comes out on... excuse me. The song is By a Monster's Hand, but the album, Servant of the Mind was 21. New album is God of Angels Trust. There we go. I'm getting all my Volbeat information mixed up. But the new album, the 9th album, comes out in June, and Volbeat going out on tour. Going to be hitting up a lot of stops in Canada with 3 Days Grace and Wage War. That'll be in early and mid-June. Then they come stateside with Hailstorm and the Ghost Inside. Looks like Tinley Park, August 22nd. Pretty much the closest to us. Then they go out overseas with Bush and Gel. Going to be in Germany and England and all sorts of places. But Volbeat, Tinley Park, August 22nd, pretty much the closest to us. New album coming out in June, and that was requested Volbeat for T-Stat. Thank you very much for the correspondence. Again, hit rockmornings.com for all of our contact info. Gene's out today, so lots of extra time to play some tunes. If you got something you want to hear, we'll get to Green Day in just a few minutes.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Green Day on Rock Mornings when I come around. Got some requested Motorhead / Lemmy coming up in a few minutes. Doc wanted to hear some. We'll get to that. Also, Scott Stapp. If you need something, find us online at rockmornings.com. Let me know what you need to hear this morning. Gene's out. Not feeling well. Probably back tomorrow. But for today, it's just me and you and Office Cora after 8. We'll talk to her about what she's got going on this weekend and play a little one-on-one with the Hypothetical Thursday. Obviously, the wildfires in L.A., devastating. People losing their homes, their livelihoods, all their belongings, pets going missing. One pet, however, that went missing, a cat, returning to its owner weeks later after the fires in L.A. County.
I feel really, really lucky. I actually didn't think I'd ever see her again. There's just such a connection. It's sort of like you have with your children. She's just a spirit, and she's her own soul. I just didn't think I'd ever really get past losing her. I felt so worried that she would think that we had abandoned her. Don't give up hope. Don't underestimate cats.
82-year-old woman getting her cat back. 2 months lost in the rubble of the Palisades fire. A family who not only lost their home has now been reunited with their lost cat. Cat found recently, expected to go home later this week, obviously getting checked out, getting all the meds and care that it needs at a animal hospital. But Aggie, a 5-year-old Maine Coon cat, separated from Catherine Kiefer and her family when their home was destroyed in the Palisades fire back in January. Aggie, injured in the fire, her fur was burned and matted, and she was apparently malnourished, but she did survive. And last Friday, 2 months after the Palisades fire started, an animal control officer found Aggie very weak, close to what was the home before it burned down. After West LA animal shelters scanned her microchip, they called Kiefer, and they had a very emotional reunion. Kiefer said before Aggie had been found, she had horrible dreams about how she was trying to survive. Aggie's still recovering in the hospital after multiple blood transfusions, expected to go home with the Kiefers to their rental home sometime this week. The 82-year-old woman, Kiefer, said, quote, "I just didn't think I'd ever really get past losing her. That cat really has 9 lives." They also have a GoFundMe page set up to help raise money for Aggie's vet bills. Information on that can be found on GoFundMe if you want to check it out. They've already surpassed, by the way, their goal of $20,000. They're at $33,000 right now. It's support Aggie's medical recovery, and over 1,000 donations on the GoFundMe account, which originally was set at $20,000, now over $30,000. So I think Aggie's going to be doing all right for the rest of her life. And speaking of fires and firefighters, the 34th annual Firefighter Stair Climb, another huge success. Thousands of firefighters from all around the world showing up in Seattle last weekend to climb 69 flights of stairs, fully decked out in their gear. That's 1,356 steps, almost 800 vertical feet. They do it to raise money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. The event this year the 34th annual, over the years has raised over $28 million since 1991.
To be able to be a part of a movement that is raising so much money for research, for patient care is phenomenal. It's great to be a part of it. It was awesome seeing people from my local community at this big event as well.
The entrance fee for the climbers, a donation of at least $300 to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, the largest nonprofit funder of leading-edge blood cancer research, and a whole bunch of different firefighters from all over the country and all over the world have been doing this since 1991, and again have raised over $28 million for research, and they just did it again last weekend. 69 flights of stairs in their gear. Oof. I don't know if I can go up one flight in that gear. Looks heavy. Requested Lemmy coming up in a few. Also some Scott Stapp. And if you need something, find us online, rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene, minus the Gene, out today. Not feeling well. Holding the fort down. Doc wanted to hear some Ozzy and Lemmy. Hellraiser, we'll get to that in just a few minutes. Farting. It's a natural thing, but a lot of people don't like to do it for whatever reason. Concerned about the sound, smell. Maybe there's something else going on down there and you don't trust it. Got to be careful sometimes, right? Especially late at night. Kind of wake up with a rumbly stomach and you think things are going to be okay, and then, 6 reasons you should never hold in a fart. I do not hold in my farts. I mean, maybe for a minute or two. But for the most part, I just like breathing, blinking, yawning. I mean, it's just a natural occurrence. It's not healthy. It's like trying to sneeze with your eyes open. Shouldn't be holding in farts. Not a good thing. Number 1 reason you shouldn't hold in a fart, mouth gas. Apparently, when you hold in your farts, gas can reabsorb into your bloodstream, causing you to breathe it out. It's apparently odorless, but it's still fart gas. Ugh. Bloating. Yeah, that's a big problem. The buildup of gas can make your stomach balloon and feel unpleasant. This is according to some doctors, experts weighing in on why you should never hold in a fart. Cramping, similar to bloating. Holding a fart in too long causes inflammation in your gut, which can lead to cramping.
I fart in your general direction.
Yeah, so just let it out, man. Let it out. Number 4 on the list of the 6 reasons you should never hold in a fart. Indigestion. Too much gas can cause issues in your upper stomach. So it's not just down in your colon or your butt. It's upstairs as well. Heartburn, indigestion can lead to issues even higher up, like heartburn. And number 6 on the list, diverticulitis, which is a problem that I had for many years. I don't think it was caused by holding in farts, because as I said, I never had a issue with letting them go. Diverticulitis, air pockets form in your digestive tract, can cause inflammation. It's extremely painful. Yeah, I had colon correction surgery a number of years ago, probably, what was it, 14 years ago now? Best decision I ever made. I mean, before that, I was getting diverticulitis flare-ups every, couple of months. There was no real reason for it. It just sort of happens. Obviously, they said to stay away from, like, foods that are difficult to digest, which I tried to do. But occasionally you just, one day you'd wake up and all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh. And so, yeah, eventually I went in for the elective surgery, and ever since then, it's been pretty good, man. I can count maybe on one hand, 1.5 hands, how many times I've had a flare up since I got the surgery. So if you have diverticulitis, and you're thinking about it, you're on the fence about the elective surgery, I would always say 2 thumbs up, go get it. But don't hold in your farts either. Don't do that. Hellraiser coming up right after Scott Stapp's Black Butterfly.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Who'd win in a wrestling match, Lemmy or God?
Lemmy. God.
Wrong, dickhead. Trick question. Lemmy is God.
You are correct, sir. Lemmy is God. And there he is with Ozzy. Hellraiser. By request for Doc, who's down by the Surf Ballroom in Iowa. Also got a text from someone who's going to see Kid Rock up in the cities this weekend. I think it's next weekend, actually. The 22nd, Target Center. But got a text from someone said, could you guys play some Kid Rock for his concert in the cities this weekend? Whoever you are, don't go to the cities looking to see Kid Rock this weekend. It's not till next weekend, March 22nd. Show up and be like, I thought Kid Rock was playing. No, that's next weekend. Damn it. By the way, speaking of Kid Rock, before we get to sports, if you haven't seen the comments on this Kid Kentucky, who is apparently a Kid Rock tribute band, I never heard about it until all of a sudden, like, a bunch of my friends on Facebook started sharing a post about a show he's got coming up in Covington, Kentucky at the Madison Theater. It's Kid Kentucky and the American Badass Band, a Kid Rock tribute. And it's on Friday, May 16th, and a bunch of my friends on Facebook were sharing this, and the comment thread is just, mwah, chef's kiss, delicious. It's everything you want and more. Does Kid Rock know about this guy? He's got it, right? Kid Kentucky. Anyways, if you haven't seen that and you want to go down a wormhole today, feel free. Just go on Facebook and search for Kid Kentucky. It should be popping right up. And again, to the person who wanted to hear some Kid Rock, which I'll get to, don't go to the cities expecting to see Kid Rock at the Target Center this weekend. It's actually next weekend, the 22nd. Sports on Rock Mornings. The Bucks looking to right the ship. They've lost 3 in a row. And tonight they're at home against the Lakers, 6:30 tip on TNT. Big Ten tournament continuing today. Starts at noon with Oregon taking on Indiana. That game on the Big Ten Network. And about a half hour after that game's over, Wisconsin taking on Northwestern. You've also got Illinois and Iowa at about 6:30 on the Big Ten Network. And then after that game, Purdue and USC. The woman who accused Chiefs wide receiver Xavier Worthy of attacking her last week, resulting in a case in which the district attorney has declined to pursue charges. The woman has now been granted a protective order against Xavier Worthy by a Texas judge. Attorneys for Tia Jones confirming the order in a statement. To the AP on Wednesday night, they added that Jones is fully cooperating with law enforcement as they continue to actively investigate the violence that occurred. So he got arrested. There was some allegations of strangulation, and then the district attorney said didn't have enough evidence to charge the guy with anything, but they're still continuing this investigation, and now she's been granted a protective order against Xavier Worthy. Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster, brother, is coming to Wisconsin next week, but he might have to make a stop in New York and apologize to some fans before he gets here. WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan leaving a bunch of young fans in tears after he bolted from a meet and greet. He's been touring the country promoting his Real American Beer, brother. And apparently at a recent meet and greet, the Hulkster, meeting with fans at a place called ShopRite in Orange County, New York. The event was held to promote the Real American Beer brand, with a bunch of people missing out on the chance to meet him at the very last second. Let's see. There's a father who said, I was there with my son and daughter. It was an exciting day, especially for my son. They said he could only see up to number 200, and we were 185. So they limit it, obviously. You don't want to, he's got other obligations, other places to go, other things to do. Can't, would love to probably stay there and meet everybody, but can't. Robert Taylor is the father. Apparently said that Hulk left abruptly before reaching them, leaving them empty-handed. They just stood up and bolted along the back. Some lady was very upset, screaming and cursing. My son just started crying, and a bunch of other kids were crying as well. But yeah, the Hulkster at an event in New York, apparently they had a limit of 200. And this guy says he was 185, and the Hulkster got up and bolted before they got to 200. This week, or next week, I should say, Monday through Wednesday, the Hulkster is going to be in Wisconsin, and you can meet him at locations in Appleton, Beaver Dam, Watertown, Oconomowoc, Kenosha, Lake Geneva, and Waterford. Last August, he was in Waukesha, Pewaukee, and a couple other spots. Also in Milwaukee in July to speak at the final night of the Republican National Convention. And the Hulkster coming back to the great state of Wisconsin next week in a bunch of different stops to promote his Real American Beer. Brother. Might have to make an apology to some of those fans in New York who apparently say he bolted before the event was supposed to be over. Shine down in a couple of minutes. Got some funeral portrait on the way as well, and I'll get to that requested Kid Rock. Again, don't go to the cities looking to see Kid Rock this weekend. It's next weekend.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
Requested Kid Rock that is born free for whoever the hell that was that is going to see Kid Rock in the cities. Again, the show is not this weekend, next weekend. Target Center, Kid Rock. RockMornings.com for all of our contact info if you want to get in touch with me this morning. If you've got something you want to hear, I'm open to suggestions. Gene's out. Boss is gone. Can kind of do what I want. Got Office Cora joining us just after 8 o'clock. We'll find out what she's up to this weekend in the 715. Also play a little round of Hypothetical Thursday. Normally we'd be asking each other questions, but Gene, of course, out today. Going to get to bad news, happy music, and the friggin' sports. Saw this story yesterday. I'm sure you've seen it by now, or if you haven't, you can Google it. U.S. influencer in big trouble in Australia. Australia's Minister for Immigration, Tony Burke, said the department now reviewing the video of Samantha Jones, also known as @SamanthaStrays_somewhere on Instagram, to see if her stunt violated the country's wildlife laws. Apparently, she took a wild baby wombat away from its distressed mother to make a Instagram video or TikTok video or whatever, and because of that, people are very upset and outraged, and now her visa is being reviewed by the Australian government. Tony Burke, the Minister for Immigration in Australia, said, quote, the department is now working through the conditions on her current visa and determining whether immigration law has been breached. Now, she didn't, kill the animal or throw it in the air or run it over with her car. But still, to grab a baby wombat from its mother and run around with it just to get some likes and clicks, stupid, which is pretty much what all influencers are. Stupid. Burke, the ministry guy, said the level of scrutiny Jones has faced over the video may be enough to keep her from returning to the land down under. Either way, given the level of scrutiny that will happen if she ever applies for a visa again, I'll be surprised if she even bothers. This guy very upset, by the way. He said, quote, I can't wait for Australia to see the back of this individual. I don't expect she will return. Oof. The video, which has been deleted from her account, but you can obviously see it in a number of different places. She posted it to her more than 92,000 followers on Instagram, snatching up the baby wombat on the side of the road in the middle of the night, while the man filming her laughing. Big funny joke. She's running around with the wombat. Mother pops out onto the street looking for its baby. The man says, look at the mother, it's chasing after her. Video then cuts to this idiot holding the baby wombat as it screams. She then says, okay, mama is right there and she is pissed. Let's let him go. Jones writing in the video caption that the baby and the mom were safely united. Oh, that's good. They could have been united the whole damn time. Foreign Minister Penny Wong also calling out the hunting influencer for her cruel video, saying it looked pretty dreadful, didn't it? I will leave those sorts of questions to Tony Burke and to the authorities, but really, leave the wombat alone. I think everyone would have seen that, would have thought, leave the baby wombat alone, leave it with its mom. An online petition has already started to call for her deportation from Australia. It's got over 13,000 signatures. Unclear if she's already fled the country. This influencer probably thought it was just a harmless stunt for a video, but the Australian Wildlife Rescue Agency, WIRES, W-I-R-E-S, did in fact say that it's illegal. A veterinarian for the WIRES agency said that the baby wombat looked about 8 months old and at an age where it would rely on its mother for protection at all times. Penalties for animal cruelty offenses vary by state in Australia. Some fines can reach as high as $14,000 for individuals and $157,000 for corporations. This woman, by the way, claims to be a wildlife biologist and environmental scientist. Did address the backlash in an Instagram comment before deleting the video, saying, for everyone that's worried and unhappy, the baby was carefully held for 1 minute in total and then released back to mom. They wandered back off into the bush together completely unharmed. I didn't think I would be able to catch it in the first place and took an opportunity to appreciate a really incredible animal up close. I don't ever capture wildlife that will be harmed by my doing so. Yeah, you're going to get kicked out of Australia. You're never going to be welcome back, and you may get fined. Hit her in the pocketbook. That's where it hurts the worst, right? Idiot. What if that was like a human baby, right? You just walk up and grab it and run around for a couple minutes while the mom's screaming and going crazy? Is that okay? Is that good for clicks? Is that good for likes? Yeah. Maybe just leave the wombat baby alone. Big dumb idiot. I got a text from Dale. Says he's out doing his trash route. Wants to hear some hell yeah, alcohol, and ass. Also got a text from Hank Hill. Wants to hear some Black Label Society. I got some time. Right now, it's the funeral portrait, Suffocate City.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Requested hell yeah, alcohol, and ass for Dale, who's out driving the trash truck today. Thanks, Dale. Appreciate it. Just got a text from Kaz. wants to hear some Texas Hippie Coalition. We'll try to squeeze that in. Of course, THC is going to be at the Big River Rally, which is happening Friday, June 27th and Saturday, June 28th. Most of the stuff will be located at the Oktoberfest grounds in La Crosse, but obviously the rides are not going to just be around the block. They're going to be all throughout the Coulee region, all up and down these roads. Lots of really cool rides, man. We're going to have guided rides. We're going to have suggested rides that you can take on your own. Veterans breakfasts, vendors, live music from Drowning Pool, Bobby Friss, and the Texas Hippie Coalition, plus several others. Stunt show, I think, is coming back. All sorts of other stuff. Check out BigRiverRally.com. Get your tickets now if you want to see THC, the Texas Hippie Coalition, when they come to La Crosse with Drowning Pool and Bobby Friss for the Big River Rally at the end of June. All the details and the tickets right there online at BigRiverRally.com. STP in a few minutes, and Office Cora are going to join me. Find out what she's up to this weekend. Play a little round of Hypothetical Thursday with her as well. And if you need something like Kaz or like Dale, shoot me a text. Find our info on rockmornings.com.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays from 6 a.m. until 9 a.m.
Stone Temple Pilots on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Office Cora are going to join me here in just a bit. Find out what she's been up to. See what she's got planned for the weekend. Play a little Hypothetical Thursday as well. Dave Draymond, lead singer of Disturbed, 52 today. That guy, 52. Common, musician, rapper, actor, multi-talented. He's 53. Might remember him from John Wick 2. He's been in a whole bunch of other stuff. Hell on Wheels, Selma. Adam Clayton, the bass player for U2, is 65. William H. Macy turned 75 today.
No, but wait, see, I was bringing you this deal for you to loan me the money to put in. It's my deal here, see?
William H. Macy, 75 years young today. On this day in 1781, 244 years ago, William Herschel discovered Uranus.
What's up, man? Did NASA find oil on Uranus, man?
I think they did find oil on Uranus. The seventh planet from the sun, Uranus, the first planet to be discovered with the aid of a telescope. 43 years ago today, 1982, T.J. Hooker, starring the Shat, William Shatner, and Heather Locklear, made its debut on ABC. 37 years ago today, 1988, John Holmes, the porn star, estimated to have slept with over 1,000 or 10,000 women, died of an AIDS-related illness. 33 years ago today, 1992, My Cousin Vinny in theaters.
The two Utes.
Two what? What was that word?
What word?
Two what?
What?
Did you say Utes?
Yeah, two Utes.
What is a Ute?
My Cousin Vinny in theaters on this day in 92. 2006, Black Sabbath inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Took them a while. Not sure why, but they made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on this day in 2006 with Lynyrd Skynyrd, Blondie, Miles Davis, and the Sex Pistols, who declined the honor but were inducted anyways. And there you go. Some stuff that happened on March 13th along with some birthdays. We've got Office Cora coming up in just a few minutes and Bad News, Happy Music a bit later on.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. She is not feeling well, so she's out today. But Office Cora is in.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm feeling fabulous.
You're feeling fabulous. Why are you feeling fabulous?
Because I am already excited for tomorrow, 3/14.
It's Pie Day tomorrow. Today is National Good Samaritan Day, so do something nice for someone.
Oh, I already did.
What did you do? Did
so
you pay it forward?
Taken care of.
Did you pay it forward at the coffee shop?
Okay, no, I didn't do that.
What did you do?
I held open a door at the gas station for somebody who had their hands full.
There you go. That's a nice little
that's
easy way to say thanks.
And then when I got here, there was some some litter scattered about, and I picked that up and threw it in the garbage.
In the parking lot?
Boom. Yep.
Wow.
2 things.
So you should just go home for the rest of the day.
Kind of.
Good Samaritan Day and Popcorn Lovers Day. Are you a fan of popcorn?
I love popcorn.
Okay.
I love it. I love it with, like, just regular with the butter. I love it with the cheese. I love it with the caramel. I love popcorn.
I like popcorn. I enjoy eating it, the flavor, but my stomach disagrees with me, so I tend to stay away from it for some reason.
Yeah, that's good. Your body's telling you something.
But you said tomorrow's 3/14, so it's National Pie Day. Obviously, the equation, that the never-ending equation. But pie restaurants use it as a way to, talk about their pies. And you guys are having some. Are they coming in again this year, or what's the deal here?
Yeah, it's the Main Street Cafe in Bloomer, and last year they brought in, I think, a dozen pies.
Really? What's your favorite kind of pie?
Oh, I like that one that's kind of cream cheese with either the strawberries or the raspberries on it.
You're talking about a cheesecake?
Well, they don't, I guess.
Yeah, it's got a graham cracker crust, and it's got the creamy, and then it's got the sauce on top. Yeah, that's a cheesecake. That's not technically a pie.
Well, I'm calling it pie.
It's not a cake either. It's kind of its own thing. It's standalone. It's kind of its own thing. I wouldn't put cheesecake in the pie or the cake category. It has the word cake in it, but I wouldn't consider it a cake. I would consider it its own thing. It's almost like a taco, like a taco is a taco. It's not a sandwich or a hot dog. It's a taco, right?
That's true. Very true. Agreed.
But Pie Day tomorrow. So you're fasting today so you can eat all the pie tomorrow.
All the pies coming my way.
Normally, we'd be playing Hypothetical Thursday, but Gina's out, so I didn't get a chance to ask her a question. So I thought I would reserve my question for you. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Do you have one for me as well?
I do.
All right. So my question for you, and you're a nonviolent person, so let's get that out of the way. What is the largest animal you think you could physically beat up?
Okay.
So if you had to take on an animal, mano a mano, Cora versus animal.
Yes.
Wild animal, too, not domesticated. What is the biggest animal in terms of its overall physical size that you think you could handle? Would it be like a goat?
Sure, sure, a squirrel.
A squirrel. So you couldn't even take a cat? You couldn't physically beat up a cat?
No, cats can be vicious. They got the claws, they got the teeth. If you get a cat bite, it's very germy.
What about a sloth? A sloth is bigger than a squirrel, and it seems like it could be pretty lazy. Like you could ragdoll that thing.
Okay, not even joking. I actually met a sloth one time.
Yeah.
And
did you have to fight it?
Well, they wouldn't even let me really. I had to be very, very quick with my hands when I fed it something, which I was being very nice, giving it a treat, and it would still, they're like, you have to be really fast or it will, bite off a finger. Ooh. And I was like, what? I thought they were so nice and gentle and slow.
Well, yeah, they only show the good videos on the internet.
As nice as you think.
So you think a squirrel is the, and you don't think a squirrel could take you out, with the running around and the chirping and the squirrel stuff that it does?
I just think I got a good chance. I have a very good chance.
You have a good chance against a squirrel. All right.
I think so.
All right.
That's where I'm putting that's where I would place my bet.
A squirrel is the largest animal you think you could physically beat up. I'd probably go around kangaroo somewhere. I'd like to take.
No way.
I saw that guy.
There's no chance you're going to beat up a kangaroo.
I saw that guy fight that kangaroo for his dog, and I think I could do it. I think if the kangaroo was trying to abduct my dog, my new beautiful puppy that I love so much, I think I could kick a kangaroo's ass. I think I could really pound it into the ground, get it down, put it in a submission chokehold. You got to get behind it, though. You got to get behind the kangaroo. The front of the kangaroo, very dangerous. The tail, the pouch, the legs, all that stuff. They're usually they're pretty yoked. They tend to have quite a few more muscles than I do. But if I can get around the back of it and put it in a sleeper hold or something, maybe get it in a figure four leg lock, I could probably take a kangaroo. Would you fight a kangaroo for a dog if you had to? No,
I couldn't.
What if your best friend was getting assaulted by a kangaroo? Would you go after it?
I would try. I would try my darndest. I would give it a valid go.
Have you ever seen the video of the kangaroo and the dog?
No, and I am never taking. No, I'm not doing this ever again after the last.
The Prancer size. Are you not on the internet?
I am.
That video's been around for a long time.
Search engine did not lead me down that path.
So I think a guy was like walking his dog somewhere in Australia, and they saw a kangaroo, and the dog went after it, and then the kangaroo sort of abducted the dog and wouldn't let it go. And the guy had to go out into a field and like basically put your dukes up with this kangaroo to get his dog back. You've never seen the video?
Get out.
Yeah.
No.
You've never seen it?
I'm good. Okay, I will take your advice. This is the final time I will be Googling something after this.
You know how many girls have said that's the final time to me? All right? All of them have said that. It's not a phrase I've never heard before. All right, what's your question for me then? Hypothetical Thursday.
Okay, if you could visit any time period in history,
we already did this one. We did that last. We did that, and I said I would go see a dinosaur. I wanted to see a dinosaur.
Oh, that's right. Okay, okay. If you could instantly master any skill, what would it be and why?
Any skill?
Yep. You instantly master it.
Like Matrix style, where I can download it, huh?
Yes.
That's a tough one.
I know. I think I'd become like a master chef. You know how they can just do that?
I can already cook. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not the world's greatest chef, but I can cook. I've got the skill. I worked in kitchens for a long time.
Oh, see, I don't.
I mean, you could go with the Neo route and learn kung fu and karate and all that stuff.
See,
which would be fun.
Then I would put my money on you for going head to head against that kangaroo.
I think I would learn how to be better at finances. I'd be like a stock trader. Like none of that stuff makes sense to me.
Oh, that's great.
And then
that's a good answer.
Then within weeks, I could improve my personal wealth. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And set myself up for a better life. That'd probably be. I can't figure any of that stuff out. Like I just, it's like stereo instructions. I start hearing it.
Yeah, for sure.
I tune out. I can't. I was thinking about that, or maybe I don't know.
That's a good one.
I thought about maybe an instrument type thing, but I just Yeah, I think maybe
like that too.
Learning how to be like a insider trader bro. You know what I mean? Like, so I could.
Yep, I like it.
Make tons of money. Hypothetical Thursday on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Again, Gene out today, so Office Cora's taking her place. What do you got going on this weekend in the 715?
Well, it is, Pi Day tomorrow, and then St. Patrick's Day on Monday.
Yes.
And so somewhere in the middle, it's kind of food and drink the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Because I am on a quest to find like the perfect corned beef dinner in the Chippewa Valley.
Well, this weekend, a bunch of places will probably be serving them up, right?
Yeah. But that's my quest. And a lot of places are having the St. Patrick's Day parties. The Shillelagh lads are joined by dancers from the Chippewa Valley Irish Dance Club. And that is Saturday night, 6 to 9. That looks like fun.
Hell yeah.
And then the Snout is having a blind dart tournament where you get blindfolded, $10 for a two-person team. That's on Saturday.
I'm guessing they point you in the right direction, right? You're not just wildly throwing darts around the bar?
I don't know. I think I would be more interested if you're just wildly throwing darts. Oh, and then the Phoenix Room is having a St. Patrick's Day party. It starts at 9 a.m., and it's for the whole family. They got the cocktails, the mocktails, and Irish cheer all day long.
I like early morning Irish celebrations.
I do, too. So.
Office Cora letting us know what's happening in the 715 this weekend. You can find out more at aroundthe715.com. Are you going to join me next Friday on a Simpsons skip day as I hit up the VFW on Star Ave and watch college basketball and drink beers and give away swag?
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't miss it.
All right. And your truck driver friend, is she going to be there as well?
I will find out.
What the hell's her name?
If she is not on the route.
What's her name? Is it Stacy?
I'm going to say yes to that, only because she's actually a friend of a friend, and I can't remember her name.
Okay.
My friend is Jill, and it's Jill's friend.
All right. Well, Jill's friend.
Let's just say truck driver, Jill's friend.
Jill's truck driver buddy.
Yes.
All right. Well, if she's there, we'll have a good time. She's a hoot.
Oh, yes.
I'm looking forward to it. So next Friday from 11 until 3, I'll be hanging out. Simpson Skip Day at the VFW on Star Ave. 11 until 3, we're going to have swag. I'm going to be buying beers for people. We're going to be watching college basketball. We're going to be giving away Rockfest tickets. It's going to be a hell of a good time. So hopefully we'll see a bunch of people there.
Perfect.
I got a text, by the way, from Shorty, who listens in Florida, and he said he likes my animal that I could take, the kangaroo. He said he'd have to go with a beaver. He'd beat the hell out of that hairy little critter. Have you ever beaten a beaver before, Cora?
Oh, my God.
When was the last time you had some beaver? Did you ever eat a beaver? I actually had some not too long ago. I had a buddy of mine he made these like beaver meat-filled dough balls into the bar. They were delicious.
For real?
Yeah, for real. I'm not lying. Why would I lie about eating beaver?
You know what? I was just at Buzzy's. What do they have? Buzzy balls or something?
You put Buzzy's balls in your mouth?
Isn't that in lacrosse? Isn't that what they're called?
Are you talking about Buzzard Billies?
Yes.
Yeah, they have armadillo eggs.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not balls. You're dreaming and wishing of balls. I don't know, but
oh, come on, Brian.
Office Cora on the phone with us. Thank you very much. Always a pleasure. We'll talk to you next Thursday.
Perfect. Bye.
Rockmornings.com to get in touch with me. We've got what are you going to do with her? We've got the friggin' sports in just a few minutes and bad news, happy music as well.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
Seether with Walls come down on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The friggin' sports brought to you by scandalous Norwegian ski jumpers. I know nothing about ski jumping. All I know is it's visually stunning, and much like NASCAR, you hope for a wipeout. Because those are incredible. I mean, these dudes are 1 billion feet in the air. No poles. No life jacket. No umbrella. Nothing. Nothing to save them. No parachute. I mean, they're just out there floating around, landing on their skis. It's a wild scene, man. The Norwegian Ski Federation has now suspended a ski jumping coach and an equipment manager over their alleged role in a cheating scandal which shook the World Championships this last weekend. The Norwegian Ski Federation said coach Magnus Brevik and equipment manager Adrian Levelton were suspected of modifying the ski suits by sewing in an extra seam in an attempt to create more lift in the air. 2 Norwegian ski jumpers, Marius Lindvik and Joanne Andre Forfang, boy, these names are weird, both disqualified from Saturday's men's large hill competition after organizers said their suits broke the rules. Lindvik had finished second in the event before he was disqualified. Norway caught red-handed for crotch cheating, apparently, at this event. Officials were caught adding extra material to the crotch area of the jumping suits in an effort to make Norwegian athletes soar further through the air. Obviously, like a swimmer shaving their hair to get thousandths of a second in the pool, or wearing the cap, trying to cut down on drag while you're in the pool. Apparently, that's what they're doing with these ski suits. They're sewing in extra fabric in the crotch to limit their wiener from acting like a rudder or a sail and catching air and slowing them down. They essentially constructed a crotch sail, modifying pre-approved suits. The suits were found by officials, and as a result, 2 gold medalists, Lindvik and Forfang, have now been disqualified from the World Championships for their modified suits. Both athletes claim they had no knowledge of the adjustments, but the Federation of International Skiing, the IFS, issuing a statement saying FIS has provisionally suspended 3 Norwegian team officials and 2 athletes who are being investigated for their alleged involvement in illegal equipment manipulation. Who knew? Obviously, if you're in the world of ski jumping, you knew, but I had no idea. These guys are sewing in extra fabric into their crotch of their suits so they can stay in the air longer and fly higher and further. And I guess when you're talking about a game of inches. Big scandal, though, in the Norwegian Ski Jumping Federation. Big scandal. Bad News, Happy Music is coming up in a few minutes. Also going to get to some Nothing More next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril.
Now that's just nasty.
Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some hashtag Florida Man for flavor.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man. Florida Man. Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
Remember the lady who accidentally sprayed Gorilla Glue in her hair? Of course you do. It was hilarious. Had to go to the hospital. Was there for a whole bunch of time. Had to do a bunch of stuff to get it out of her hair. But somehow thought that she didn't mistake the Gorilla Glue for something else. She knew it was Gorilla Glue. She did it intentionally. This, unfortunately, is another instance of that, but it's two similar bottles, and people are apparently putting nail glue in their eyes instead of eye drops. And we're talking about the stuff you use for, like, press-on nails or whatever.
I'm at the ER because I was half asleep and I needed to put my antibiotic eye drops in tonight. And instead of grabbing eye drops, I grabbed the Kiss nail glue. So this is them rinsing my eye out. They already took out 3 shards of super glue. Don't get super glue in your eye because then you have to go through this, like, contact suction thing on your eye.
Yeah, that sounds horrific. That was a TikToker named Breezy Bree posting a video from the ER where she had apparently tried to use some eye drops but grabbed fingernail glue instead. A brand called Kiss sells the fingernail glue in the same type of bottle that eye drops come in. And these are 2 items that will both be in your bathroom. I get it. But it's like super glue for your nails. Dries in seconds. And apparently, rather than read the bottle or put it in a different place where you know it's not fingernail glue, she grabbed it, squirted it in her eye, and next thing you know, she's in the ER. Not the first person to do that either. Healthcare workers say it's become a real issue and that they're seeing more and more people who accidentally glue their eyes shut. One doctor called it, quote, relatively common. TikTok lady had to sit in the ER while they flushed her eye out. Apparently had to attach a little tube to her eyelid to keep the fluid running, so it took a while, but she's going to be okay. Experts say the safest thing to do is double, maybe triple check the dropper anytime you put something in your eyeballs. Maybe even read the label out loud to yourself so you know what you're putting in your eyes. And if you do put the wrong stuff in there, they say go to a sink as fast as you possibly can, wash your eyes out, and if it's too late, then you got to go to the ER. But yeah. Like the Gorilla Glue lady. People keep putting fingernail glue in their eyeballs. That's not good. Hashtag Florida Man. Arrested after setting fire to a strip club. The name of the place is the Pink Pony Club in Tampa. And police in Florida arresting a 29-year-old man named Arvin Solomon-Poor after he apparently freaked out in the vacant Pink Pony Club. The place's real name, or the full name, Pink Pony Showgirls. Arvin went in there, fired a couple of gunshots, then set the place on fire. The police were called. And when they got there, they saw Arvin dragging some brush into the burning building. So he's adding some more kindling, apparently, to the fire to make sure it didn't die down. While he was in custody, this guy, again, hashtag Florida Man. While Arvin was in custody, he complained that he was thirsty, so the officers gave him a bottle of water. He then drank it. Then he apparently peed himself into the bottle, and then threw it back at the police. What the hell were they doing while he was doing all this stuff? Arvin was hit with a slew of charges, including arson, shooting within a building, gun possession, battery on a police officer, and felony criminal mischief. police still investigating why he went into the strip club and set it on fire. I'm guessing maybe some mental issues. Maybe. Just a guess. It's a theory. Traffic coming to a halt at a downtown Memphis intersection when 5 men jumped out of their car and then began twerking in front of motorists in Tennessee. This happened on Monday of this week, about 3 blocks east of the Mississippi River in Memphis. And the dancing was so good and felt so right that it was still happening when the police arrived. Police lieutenant there in Memphis drove up to the scene, saw a 2016 Chevy Malibu blocking traffic at a green light, and the 4 men twerking around the car outside. A 5th man was spotted dancing on the car's hood. The 5 men were all taken into custody so the offense would not happen again, and they were charged with obstructing traffic, the men ranging in age from 18 to 22. A motive behind the stunt not yet released, but it's not the first time that motorists in Memphis apparently have been subjected to twerking in traffic based on video shared on social media. So this is some kind of social media challenge where you pull up into the intersection, jump out of your car, block traffic, and then start twerking. Seems smart. Seems like the smart thing to do. Elsewhere, 31-year-old man in custody after a violent outburst on a small regional flight leaving the Savannah, Georgia airport. Add this to the list of reasons why I'll probably never get on a plane again. This guy now facing federal charges after he was accused of attacking a flight attendant and then swallowing rosary beads on this flight to Miami. Delange Augustine, charged with misdemeanor battery, misdemeanor obstruction of police, and a felony count of criminal property damage after this altercation on Monday on an American Airlines flight from Savannah, Georgia to Miami. This guy was one of 8 passengers on this plane and apparently had a violent outburst at one of the 5 crew members. So the crew members almost outnumbered, almost able to play one-on-one defense here. Less than a minute after the plane took off, this guy appeared to be having a fit of epilepsy, said one of the flight attendants. When the attendant tried to check on him, he turned in his seat, lifted his legs, and kicked the flight attendant in the chest. The force of the kick so strong it sent the flight attendant across the plane's aisle into the opposite row of seats and against the far window. The man alleged to have then continued his aggression, punching and kicking the seat and the passenger that was in front of him. The pilots, overhearing the altercation, decided to turn the plane around and go back to the Savannah airport rather than continue to Miami. And once the plane became redirected to its original location, this guy apparently calmed down a little bit. Augustine, traveling with his sister, told her that the pair were on their way to Haiti to flee religious attacks of spiritual nature. Then he told officers that before his outburst on the plane, his sister told the officers that before his outburst on the plane, her brother had turned to her and told her, quote, "Close your eyes and pray because Satan's disciples had followed them onto the plane." Uh-oh. Yeah, you got to get that guy off the flight. Got to get the guy off the flight. Got to turn it around. Got to get him off the flight. Put him on the no-fly list. Can't get on the plane anymore. Also, apparently swallowed his rosary beads. Whole nother thing going on there. Yeah. Assaulting flight attendants. Having a mental breakdown. Got to get that guy off the plane. Woofta. Again, might never fly again. Don't want to encounter that on a plane. No, thank you. Last but not least, bad news, happy music. House of Horrors. A man allegedly held captive by his stepmother for 20 years. 20 years this guy was held captive by his stepmom. Her name is Kimberly Sullivan. She's 56, and she's been charged now with assault, kidnapping, unlawful restraint, cruelty, and reckless endangerment, arraigned earlier this week, held on a $300,000 bail. Her attorney indicated that she intends to vigorously defend the charges, saying she's adamant she did not do the things that she's been accused of. The victim, who is 32, name not disclosed, claims that he has been held captive in this home in Connecticut since he was about 11. He alleges that Sullivan would lock him in an 8-foot by 9-foot room with no heat or air conditioning for 22 hours a day, letting him out only to complete household chores. This guy, by the way, who's 32, only weighed 68 pounds. 5'9", 68 pounds, age 32. Let that sink in. 32 years old, 5'9", 68 pounds. When they found him. Only allowed outside for about a minute a day to let the family dog out in the back of the property. Sullivan would only allow the victim to eat 2 sandwiches a day, provided him the equivalent of 2 small bottles of water. Alleges that he remembers food and water restricted from the time that he was 3 years old. Saying that at one point in his life, he was so thirsty he was drinking from the toilet bowl. Also stealing food from classmates, eat out of the school garbage bins, prompting investigations from Child Protective Services, which resulted in the stepmom, pulling him out of school and essentially locking him up in this room. The victim finally escaping after setting fire to his tiny bedroom on the second floor of the home in Waterbury, Connecticut, back on February 17th. When first responders arrived to put out the fire, they discovered the emaciated man. Prosecutors said he was akin to a survivor of Auschwitz death camp. Again, 32 years old, 5'9", weighed 68 pounds. As he was being treated for smoke inhalation, he confided in the rescue crews that he has set the blaze intentionally as a means to escape. He said, "I wanted my freedom." 20 years. This woman had this guy locked up, allegedly, in this home in Connecticut. 5'9", 32 years old, 68 pounds. Holy moly. Bad news, happy music on Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to our daily check-ins after Finger 11.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Visit the website, rockmornings.com, for all of our contact info. Register to win prizes like date night. We'll do that tomorrow. Listen to the show live. Check out the daily podcast. Give it a subscribe. All that crap. Let's see. Lots of text messages coming in this morning. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Shorty wanted to hear some Silent Theory or In Flames. Also said he would have to go with a beaver. He said he'd beat the hell out of that hairy little critter. Talking about our hypothetical question for Office Cora this morning. What would be the largest animal she thinks she could physically take on? And she said a squirrel. I went with kangaroo. Fat Boy said, how about some Hardy or Florida Georgia Line? I know how much you like them. Hardy or Fat Boy, you can go F yourself. He said, just kidding. I do need some 80s hair for Hairball at the Omni Center this weekend. Am I on the wrong calendar? Because this is the second person that doesn't know what day it is. Hairball's next weekend, the 22nd. Much like the Kid Rock guy, Kid Rock's the 22nd up at the Target Center. This Friday and Saturday is the 14th and 15th. That 22nd is next Saturday. Kaz wanted to hear some Texas Hippie Coalition. Did not get to that. Sorry, buddy. I did get to a bunch of requests, though. I did get that Alcohol and Ass for Dale, who was picking up trash today. Also got to some Kid Rock for the person that thought Kid Rock was playing in the cities this weekend. Doc wanted to hear that Ozzy and Lemmy with Hellraiser. Got to that. T-Stat wanted to hear Volbeat. Did that. Thank you, T-Stat. Allison earlier wanted to hear some Stained. Did that as well. Thank you very much for all the correspondence. Good to hear from you guys. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Enjoy the weather. It's going to be beautiful today. We'll talk to you tomorrow.